What's good, Deck Gang? It was a big day for game releases, but chief among them for me was Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I'm really excited to play this game, and sheer curiosity got the better of me, so I immediately bought it and proceeded to play it on the Steam Deck. Now, let me spoil the result up front here. Kirby is playable on the Steam Deck, but it's much better on the Switch. It's going to play at under 30 FPS almost the whole time on the deck, even if you drop the resolution to 50%. Furthermore, the frame rate will get as low as the teens, and I even had a couple crashes. Still, if you're as curious as I was, it is absolutely playable, and I reckon you can even finish it on the deck. Also, up front here, I want to say that emulation is not piracy. Some people tend to see playing a Switch game on a non-Switch device on day one and immediately cry foul. While I do understand that sentiment, I want to repeat, emulation is not piracy. It's not the same thing. I do want to spend a video talking about that in more depth, but for now I'll leave it at that. And lastly, I fully expect Nintendo to use a copyright strike to attempt to have this video taken down. I understand that this video may not be up forever, so I am creating an unlisted version as well that I will provide links to in my Discord and Patreon. I will upload to Odyssey also, but I haven't set myself up there yet. So if you're one of the lucky few that get to see this video before it gets taken down, do consider supporting me by subscribing, setting notifications to all, and maybe becoming a patron over at patreon.com/fanthedeck. Okay, let's dig into some of the on-screen gameplay here. The Switch version of this game does have dynamic resolution, so it will occasionally scale to below 720p when undocked and 1080p when docked. I chose to play it in handheld mode in Yuzu. By the way, Ryujinx is now available as a flat pack, so you can easily download that from the Discover Store too. I tried Kirby in Ryujinx, but in my first test it worked better on Yuzu, so that's what I'm demoing here. I tried each of the resolution options, so 100%, 75%, and 50%. To be honest, I didn't feel that much of a difference in frame rate when I played each of these. There's one segment in the first proper level where you can kite a few enemies together, and there are some destructible boxes in that segment too. So there's a lot going on there, and the game drops to the mid-teens on all of the resolution options. 50% does perform a bit better than 100%, but the sub-native resolution options are experimental and can introduce graphical glitches. Okay, I'm going to shut up for a bit so you can see some raw gameplay, and I'll come back at the end to talk about power consumption and my final conclusion. Alright, so that's Kirby on deck. As far as power consumption goes, it stayed between 15 and 18 watts pretty consistently, so you probably won't get more than 3 hours, but you'll clear 2 hours on the Steam Deck pretty handily. Again, this is all day one, so things might improve over time, but honestly, this is a game coming late in the Switch lifecycle, so it's kind of impressive that it runs reasonably well at all. I would still expect major dips on the Steam Deck even with improvements to Yuzu or game-specific hacks. Also, I'm only showing off the first few minutes of gameplay here, performance may get worse in the late game. So all in all, this is more of an academic curiosity. If you want the real Kirby experience, definitely play it on your Switch. But if you're like me and like to explore this sort of stuff, it's certainly playable. And as I said at the top, there were some other games that came out today like Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm cooking up a video on that. I'm also preparing a mega showcase with some of the most requested games, stuff like Black Ops 3 and Madden. Shout out to these patrons, some of whom have been making those requests. Finally, if you don't know how to use Yuzu on Steam Deck, be sure to check out my guide. Deck Gang out. Goodbye!